Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today. I appreciate those of you watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. And today we're going to be talking about the sword and the sorcerer. I don't know why it was funny, but I just started laughing. Anyways, we're going to talk about the sword and the sorcerer. This came out in 1982. I only heard about this maybe a few months ago, maybe a year ago, which is kind of surprising because I like fantasy stuff. And this was in the 80s. So, I was around in the 80s. And that's really when I got into these types of movies. After watching this show, though, I was kind of disappointed because the plot was kind of interesting. And if I was a actor and I read this script, I probably would have been excited to watch it. I just feel like the execution of this was very poorly done and executed. I mean, it does have some highlights of this, but I'm just saying overall, I feel like it could have been done better. And if they ever did a remake of this, I would be excited to watch it. Maybe. I'll put a maybe there because I don't really have much faith in Hollywood writers these days. Anyways, let's not get into that. But yeah, let's get into the sword and the sorcerer. Hopefully you're still around. So I did enjoy the plot. A couple things. We'll start with the bad. I'm going to start with negative stuff. Didn't really get into the whole sword thing. I thought the sword design was pretty atrocious, to say the least. It didn't really... I mean, the script, it probably sounded cool, but visually, it just didn't look very good. And it was like, the sword looks kind of useless. However, the fact that you could push a button or whatever, and the other blades would fly out of it, that's pretty cool. But overall, just the visual look of the sword was kind of... off to me. I will say though, at the end, that last fight where he's just pulling knives out everywhere from the sword, it looked like was pretty cool. That part was cool. Also, the other bad part was like it's called a sword, and the sorcerer. We did get to see a little bit of the sword, but the sorcerer was like probably one of the weakest villains, if not the weakest villains I've ever seen in a movie. I mean, he gets double crossed. He gets pretty much eliminated from the majority of the movie. Little spoiler, it turns out he was actually kind of in disguise. And then at the end, he gets defeated again pretty easily. So it was like, and he really didn't have any role to play in this whole movie. So it's kind of like, I guess the name of the movie, The Sword and Sorcerer, sounds cool, but could you at least give the sorcerer some more time? I mean, the evil king, I guess you could say the sword and the evil king might have been more appropriate. For you who watched The Barbarian, it's the same actor who was the king and the barbarian. I think he did a better job in The Sword and the Sorcerer. I think he did a better job in this role, but the script was a little better than The Barbarian. I might get a lot of haters like that. I did not realize how popular the Barbarians were until I did that video, and now it's like one of the videos I get the most watched. But let's get back to the Sword and Sorcerer. So that, and then the fighting scenes were disappointing to me. I feel like if I got me and my group of buddies out there as kids, we could probably pull off just as good fighting scenes in this. Been nice if they could done some more rehearsal with the fighting scenes and kind of planned those out a little better. This movie would have been a lot better if the fighting scenes were better. Fighting scenes are supposed to enhance the movie, not enhance or whatever, not make the movie worse. And in this case, it was. I mean, the final fighting scene was pretty cool. You had stuff, but that's not saying much considering for the rest of the movie, pretty bad. And then you just can't have nails nailed into your hands and then pull them out and then be able to grip stuff like 5 minutes after you did that. So, I wanted this, go with the flow as much as possible. But when you start doing stuff like that, it's hard for me to really get into the movie. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's this, you probably don't have any use of your hands at all because, you're going through like muscle and tendons and stuff. But, you had to make the character look kind of strong there at the end. I understand, but realistically, impossible. Just saying. unless you get some kind of magical thing there going on, but there was no magic used. Anyways, but in the editing, it was kind of choppy and stuff. But probably time constraint and money issues were probably the reason for that. Some of the good things, like I said, I did enjoy the plot. I found it interesting to get this kind of revenge thing for the prince, who's kind of like a wimpy dude at the beginning. So then you kind of see him like skip a years later, and it's like this, like a hunk of a man all of a sudden, and he's actually capable of, he's actually a capable warrior, mercenary type guy. Very much of a womanizer, and I will say the lead actress, I put these names in the comment section below, but the woman who played the princess, she's very beautiful. I will say, even though she's very beautiful, and she's probably like one of the most pretty actresses I've seen in that time period, I would say though, for a reward to rescue her brother, I would need more than a one-night stand. I mean, we have to talk about marriage, long haul. I'm not risking my life for a one-night stand. I mean, she's very beautiful, so I gotta understand the temptation there. But, I would need more than a one-night stand at one time, I would take the money. He denies the money for the girl, so you got this 80s mentality of womanizer stuff. You probably would not see that in today's movies and scripts where the guy denies money and he just wants to have sex with the girl. That would probably be a big no-no today. Just how the times are a-changing or have changed. Just watching, I was like, dude, you're gonna need more than a one-night stand for me to get to do that, right? I don't care how beautiful she is. And if she's gonna have a one-night stand, she's probably been ran through a few times there. Doesn't really talk about her purity very much in this. Anyways, let's get off that topic there. As for more memorable characters, there wasn't anything really memorable about these characters, except for like we got a bunch of guys being lustful. Let's just say that in the least. This is another thing about people talking about not strong female characters. The princess in this, while she doesn't really do any fighting or anything like that, she is a strong female character. She's trying to lead this rebellion to try to get her brother back on the crown, to be king. So she's like one of the leaders of these outlaws and stuff. And just because she doesn't really know how to fight doesn't mean she's a weak character, which I think a lot of writers these days get confused. You don't need to know how to be like a badass karate kicking chick knows how to wield a gun or a sword to be a strong character. You just got to be somebody who's willing to face danger and take risk and of your life to be a strong character. And this is what our princess is in this movie. And she's probably a lot smarter than her brother, even though they both get kind of duped, in this one. So all overall, Sword and Sorcerer, I would probably recommend this with caution. Just because I feel like even though the plot was good and stuff like that, it's just the execution of this story wasn't very well done. They could have done a lot more with the fighting scenes, a little bit tighter editing. The set pieces were pretty good, I would say, especially for that time period. A little dark for my taste. I know they was trying to use natural light, and maybe it's my TV, but it was hard to make out stuff was going on in certain instances. So anyways, yeah, if you like fantasy though, this is for you. If you're just looking for a good movie, a good story, not for you. So I'm going to recommend it with caution. Hope you enjoy this. Thank you for hanging out with me for this 9.5 minutes. If you've seen the Sword and the Sorcerer, gotta hit on myself. Leave some comments below. Interested to see what you guys think. Would I watch this again? If I found it on TV, which I don't really watch TV, I don't own cable, I just own streaming services, I would probably watch it. I would say I'd probably watch it. So a friend have it on, I would probably want to watch it with him, But other than that, yeah, I would recommend it with caution, extreme caution. And have a great day. And until Monday, bye.